students, welcome you again in the lecture of subject auditing. In the series of lectures of Unit 3, we have reached to the next level of the discussion. In the last lecture, we have seen the eligibility, qualification, disqualification of company auditors, and also we have seen the appointment process and procedure for company auditors. In the today's session, we are going to discuss the removal of auditors. I, Dr. Supriya Saugule from DRK College of Commerce, Kolhapur, wish to welcome you in today's session. Now, let us discuss about the removal. The Companies Act ensures that the independence of the auditor is safeguarded always. Therefore, provisions relating to the removal of auditors are very stringent. What does it mean? Because the appointment procedure of the auditor is strictly done according to the norms, rules, regulations given in the Companies Act. Therefore, provisions relating to the removal of the auditors are very strict and stringent. Now, first stage is removal of auditor before the expiry of his term. Removal of first auditors. We know that the first auditors are appointed by the board of directors. In the last session of appointment of the auditors, we have seen that after registration of the company, the authority and responsibility regarding appointment of the first auditor is with the board of directors. Okay. So first auditor is appointed by board of directors. To remove the first auditor, an ordinary resolution is to be passed at the shareholders meeting. If another person is proposed to be appointed in his place, at least 14 days notice is required to be given to him. So therefore it is clear that the first auditor is appointed by the board of directors. Hence, to remove the first auditor, ordinary resolution is required and it should be passed in the shareholders meeting. If another person is going to be appointed as auditor, at least 14 days notice is to be given to the previous auditor. Removal of other statutory auditors. The auditors can be removed before the expiry of their term by the company in a general meeting only with the prior approval of the central government. The provision prevents unjust removal of auditors. So easily auditor is not going to be removed. There is a procedure. If the auditor is going to be removed before the expiry of his term, then company in the general meeting only with the prior approval of the central government, the company can take decision regarding removal of the statutory auditor. Now let us discuss the another point, that is removal of auditor after expiry of term. After expiry of the term of office, an auditor is usually automatically reappointed. However, if the company decides not to reappoint the existing auditor, the procedure is going to be followed. That means the first auditor is going to be removed, and if so another person is appointed, then the second person will be appointed as a auditor because the term has been expired. But if no provision has been made of the new person, the old person is going to be reappointed in the next annual general meeting. Now, procedure of the removal after expiry of the term. First, special notice. The shareholder who intends to remove the auditor shall give 14 days notice. That notice is special days special notice to the company informing his intention to remove the auditor by passing a resolution in the general meeting. So 14 days prior notice must be given. Now second thing is to be done for the removal, that is communication. Communication to the retiring auditor. The company on receipt of such notice should send a copy to retiring auditor. What does it mean? That when any auditor is going to retire, the notice must be given, or the copy of the notice must be given to the auditor. So he should be communicated. Third is representation by retiring auditor. The retiring auditor can make a written presentation not exceeding a reasonable length to the company regarding his proposed removal. He may also request the company to circulate his representation to the members. The company should send a copy of the representation of the auditor to the shareholders, either along with the notice to the meeting or subsequently. The company is required to send the representation to the shareholders only if the representation is made by the auditor within reasonable time. So if the retiring auditor wish to make any representation, it should be in a reasonable length. He can request to the board of directors that representation should be sent to the shareholders and it should be noticed by them. The fourth important point is representation to be read. If the representation is not circulated to the shareholders, the auditor may require that his representation be read out in the general meeting. So, before his removal, his representation is going to be read in the general meeting. The next one is right to attend the meeting. Though the auditor is going to be removed from his post, before that the auditor who is proposed to be removed has an inherent right to attend general meeting. He can also make an oral statement at the meeting as to his proposed removal. So the right to attend and propose his oral statement is given to the auditor. Next, not to abuse the right. The above privilege are extended to the auditor to protect his independence. That means though the right to attend meeting and to give oral presentation is given to the auditor, but this privilege should not be misused to prevent his unjust removal. For that purpose only and for protecting his independence, the right is to be given. However, if the company law board is satisfied that his right to make a representation is likely to be abused by him by way of seeking unwarranted publicity for a defamatory matter, the company law board may order that representation may not be read out or circulated to the shareholders. That is the important thing. If company law board notices that the auditor is abusing or misusing his right to represent, then his representation is not circulated to the shareholders. If he is wish to seek the publicity and any other purpose which is harmful to the company, then his representation is neither read out nor to be circulated to the shareholders. In this regard, the company or any other aggrieved party may apply to company law board seeking the direction of the company law board. Thank you. In the today's session, we have discussed the removal procedure of the company auditor. Also, we have seen that how the old auditor is going to be removed or reappointed and what is the right of the retiring auditor, or how notice is to be given and how his explanation or his opinion is to be communicated, and how the removal procedure is to be communicated to the auditor also. Thank you. Stay continued for the next session. Thank you very much.